Today's daily recap for Beyond the Gates is for Tuesday, March the 4th, 2025. Well, guess what? Danny goes to, some bar, but no, that was yesterday. Actually, Danny is supposed to remember stay away. She's supposed to stay away from the press conference. Bill tells Haley, look, I gotta go. Got to go to this press conference, and she's pulling a little tantrum. No, it's our wedding night. Don't you go, Bill Henderson. Is that his name? I think Henderson. And so he goes, look, I can't let them spin their spin on this story. I have to be there to protect us. She goes, we're married. What do you mean protect us? He goes, oh, I don't know what they're going to say. And whatever they say, it'll be against me. It could affect the reputation of my firm. So, no, I'm not going to let them get away with murder. Don't you leave me on my wedding night. Don't leave me here alone. Oh, she just pound, doing everything but stomping her little feet, right? So, anyway, the press conference is there. The press is there. And Vernon is giving his spin on it. As you all know, because a lot of people have seen it, um, there was an incident at Bill and Haley's wedding, Bill Henderson and Haley's wedding, and my daughter, Danielle, pulled out a gun that is licensed and registered to her. She had, there was a little incident and the gun accidentally went off. Danny did not intend to shoot anyone. And her mother said she was going through a lot of strain or whatever, blah, 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 right? And so, because of, the stress that Bill Henderson has put on her, and blah, blah, they were throwing it all on Bill, right? Which, okay, he did stress her out the way he left her, but she been putting on a lot of stress herself, showing up at his hotel room, realistically. But anyway, they're like, but if everything was okay, it was just an incident, where is she? And so Danny comes walking in. I'm right here. And I do have a few things to say. And she pretty much uses it more as a soapbox to apologize to her parents. And they go, but Danny, or Danielle Dupree, Miss Dupree, were you planning to killing either Bill Henderson or Haley? Do you know she didn't answer that? She said, it was unfortunate, not one of my finest hours. I regret it, but I regret most of all the pain and embarrassment I've brought on my family, to my mother and father. And she turned around. I am so sorry to have let you down, but most important, to my daughter, who had been streaming the event. She had no way of knowing. And now she blames herself. Honey, come here. Come here. She takes her hand. This is not your fault. You did not know. And that's when Bill and Haley both come walking in. Haley's walking in, still in her wedding dress, you know. And he goes, oh no, that's one thing you're right about. It is not Chelsea's fault. He goes, I have something to say. And Vernon looks at him, and he goes to the podium, and Vernon steps aside. And of course, Bill says, that Danny is unhinged and blah, blah, blah. And oh no, they want you to have you believe this is the first time she's done something like this, because she has been harassing Haley for months. But that ain't true. Little Miss Haley, for months, has been getting into Danny's face. He goes, she disfigured. She struck Danny, disfiguring her face. And Haley goes, there was nothing disfiguring about that little red mark on her face that you can't even see, right? That ain't disfiguring. She did not need Ted, whatever Ted Richardson, to do a little plastic surgery on her, right? So anyway, Bill says what he's saying, and it was criminal, and he's naming off all the charges that should be brought against Danny for what she did, that incident. So the father leans into the podium and puts his hand over the microphone. He goes, "You have said enough. I allowed you the opportunity to speak. Now step back." And Bill looked at Vernon and he stepped back. And I thought, oh, wait, wait. I noticed that little dynamic there. Bill did not disregard Vernon like he kind of had been. But it really, I guess if I really think about Bill and Vernon's interaction, he really doesn't. Like even when he came to his house saying, "I want you, your family, and I want you to invite the community to get them to come to my wedding." And Vernon's like, "Now, why would I do that?" And then he kind of hinted about Martin, right? He goes, "Oh, over the things I've had to cover up for this family and do for this family, you could do this favor for me," right? So Vernon knew, oh, shoot, okay, okay. But yet, Vernon still, he will stand his ground when he wants to stand his ground. He's not a pushover for Bill. So anyway, Bill steps back and Vernon ends the press conference. And Haley's standing there. And Bill goes over to Haley and he's saying, yeah, well, we're here and I can't believe she's going to get away with it the way they're spinning it and blah, blah, blah. Now they're still standing there, right? Around the whole family. A cop comes in and he is asking Nicole, "Where is Danny?" So, and Danny was, I don't know, had Danny left or she was at the other side of the room? Because before the cop there, Danny may have left. Before the cop came, Danny went to her parents and says, "I know you both are furious at me showing up here, but I couldn't hide in shame and, tower." And the mother says, "No, to the contrary, you were fine, and what you said was okay, right? Not giving her a full pass, but giving her a little pass, right? Like you didn't mess things up like you normally do." So anyway, the father goes over to the cop because Danielle says, no, 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 not Nicole. She was talking to Naomi, and Naomi's spouting legal jargon, saying, "Well, listen, this is private property and blah, blah, blah." And she's just, trying to smooth this over. And the cop says, "Yeah, but still, you know what? I need to talk to her because, this is very public, right? The incident." And so Vernon comes over to him. He says, "Hey, officer," and he's trying to look at his bed. "What's your name?" And he says his name. He goes, "Okay, okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. This is a delicate matter. And, our family is going through quite a bit right now. Listen, I am having lunch with the chief or the commissioner of police," right? Well, the commissioner, maybe he said, and he names his name. And he goes, "Commissioner, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Yeah, we're very, very good friends. And I'm going to mention your name tomorrow, that you handled this situation with discretion and, and very," he didn't say delicate because it wasn't delicate, but he said a word kind of like, "You know what? You were courteous or diligent," right? And he goes, "Oh," and he flips his book back. "Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I guess everything is in order. I guess things are okay." And I'm like, is that all it took? Right? So Bill looked at Haley and he goes, she gonna get away with this. Mm, just like those Duprees, right? So Bill and Haley go home and oh, she got attitude. And so he goes, and he's saying something about them. And she goes, yet we had to spend our honeymoon night there at a press conference. She goes, I told you I didn't want to go, Bill. And he says, no, honey, you said you did not want me to leave you alone here. So I didn't leave you alone. I brought you with me. And she goes, and he goes, and now we've got our honeymoon night to get underway. And she goes, I'm not in the mood right now. And she goes over to the champagne glass and he goes, wait, what's going on here? What do you mean? She goes, I I guess me almost being shot by your deranged ex-wife, all of that's finally gotten caught up to me. And now I'm asking you for a little space. Bill looks down at her and he goes, a little, a little space. Wait, what's that supposed to mean? Because you told me you had something very special planned for our honeymoon night. She said, nothing has gone according to my plan. Not the wedding, not after the wedding. We had to go to a press conference. So, no, I need your understanding. And she pouts and she sits on the couch. And I thought, ooh, girl, he'll be replacing you tomorrow. You are going to overplay your hand because you don't have that kind of hand, right? So, anyway, Bill looks at her and he sits down and then he does this little sweet talking to her. And, next thing you know, they're kissing on the couch. I still don't know. I don't know. Is she going to give him a piece or not? But, don't try to do the whole, I'm not in the mood because, girl, you've been in the mood probably every night while you were taking him from Danny, right? Giving him a taste of what he was going to get from you. So now you can't do a 180 because you're mad, because you're disappointed. He made you go. Hmm. There we go. So now she's at the bar now, and she's reminiscing about the night that Naomi got married and how sweet and attentive. And it was funny, some of the things he was saying to her, he says a lot of the same things to Haley, but to me, he meant them more with Danny, you know. And he was saying, yeah, it's a do-over for them, and he's gonna make it all right. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And she's just remembering how happy she was, and oh, she knew he loved her, and blah, blah, blah. Like, Danny, get a life. Get a life, right? So she picks up the phone, and guess who the next scene she's with in her house? Andre. And he's at kind of the wall, maybe her wall unit, looking at something, or maybe he's making himself a drink. And he turned around because he heard her come in. He says, you said make yourself to let myself in. And she goes, and I meant it. But she comes and she is in just her trench coat and she takes it off and she's naked. And I thought, wait a minute. He said, you said, let myself in. Where was she coming from that she had a trench coat on? It was almost like the scene should have been he told her to let herself into his place, right? I was like, I don't know. Did that work right? Did that flow right? I don't get it, right? So anyway, or how that happened with the trench coat, because you only do that when you're leaving your house driving naked under that trench coat to get to seduce somebody. If you're in your house, you coming out your room, your bedroom, in a negligee, right? That's what you're doing, something gorgeous that they want to just take off of you. So anyway, she makes out, he goes, I thought you said this was, I'm surprised you called me. Thought you said this was a one night stand. And she says, yeah, I changed my mind. So, okay, they do their thing, but we didn't get into a huge love scene with them. Now, they just a kissing scene. Let me get to my pictures. I got two pictures here. We've got Danny remembering years ago when Naomi got married. But the funny thing is, since the show has no real history, they just try to make them look a little younger, but you couldn't make Bill look younger. That Bill from years ago looked the same as that night tonight, at his own wedding to his child bride, right? They tried to make Danny look a little younger, but she looked the same. And so then now she's kissing Andre, trying to forget it, wash Bill out of her head. I guess that's exactly what she's trying to do. Um, Now, Ashley, I finally got the name of the nurse. Ashley, she's on adrenaline cloud nine. The head nurse told her that the mother named the baby Ashley, what is it? Uh, Ashley Andrea, after Ashley the nurse and Andre, which was a cute name. So she's just pumped, and Andre was talking. Yeah, I had a good teammate or good person, to be in there with, and followed your lead. And the fireman was kind of jealous, but he was still interjecting some things, and then he walked over to Ashley and had his arm around her, and he was saying, you both did a very good job, and blah blah blah. And yeah, okay. So she tells the head nurse, look, I've got energy. I could do another shift. She goes, no, you've already finished your shift for the day. You are going on working off of adrenaline right now. She says, so you feel like you have all this energy. She goes, trust me, when the adrenaline starts to wear down, you're going to be very tired. So, no, you're going to go home, right? And I'll see you tomorrow. You're on the schedule. So the fireman says, let me take you home. And actually, she's kissing him right there at the nurse's station. And Andre's just looking on. And it's an in-depth kiss, a very passionate one. And the head nurse is looking at Andre like, I see you got something you want from her. You got a little hankering for her. And so she tells Ashley, look, I would tell you both to get a room, but all these rooms are full of sick people, and you guys obviously are not sick. So, and then Ashley's like, you know what? You're right. This is probably so professional to be doing this right here. We're gonna go. Right. So she tells Andre, bye, Andre. She considers Andre a good friend now. Okay. So he takes her home, and she wants them to hit the sheets, Ashley and her boyfriend. But he's like, Ashley, it's late. I have a very early schedule time tomorrow. And so do you. So we need to get some rest. I'm going to go back to my place. Right. And I'm thinking, well, if he's a fireman, aren't they on 14 days and off 14 days? Right. I mean, is he starting his on shift? Because I don't know, but that's what I thought firemen, they stay at the fire station, which is how Andre's probably going to have his opportunity to sneak on over, wanting to see how Ashley's doing, knocking on her door. Hey, I know you ain't at work. I just seeing if you okay. How you doing? How you feeling? Come on now. We can already see where that's gonna go. I think that's it, everybody. I think Haley. Yeah, I nothing else. I don't. And the cousin, what's her name? Chelsea and Kat. Kat was always saying a bunch of snide little remarks about Chelsea, filming that whole thing, but she ended up saying, cuz I was real hard on you earlier, and I want to apologize for that because it was an accident. She goes, I just don't know how I forgot to, soon as something happened, I should have stopped the recording. I should have. And so Kat says, maybe it's because you saw a gun that you weren't thinking. You probably didn't even remember you were recording. And I thought, but she sure could set that thing up perfect so it could get everything. So I don't know. So anyway, everybody, that's it for today. That's all that I really captured from today's episode. So I'll be back tomorrow for another daily recap of Beyond the Gates.